Hi guys, it's Natasha and I'm back with another hair tutorial. Today I'm going to be showing you how I did my own feed-in cornrows for the very first time. So I'm going to start off on just my natural curly hair, and all I have in it is a hair mask from Shea Moisture and some coconut oil to help prep the hair for the protective style. So I'm going to be using this African Royal Hot 6 oil and putting it on my hair so that I can moisturize it and oil it before I go ahead and blow dry it. I'm going to use my Tangle Teaser to gently detangle my hair since it is dry and just start blow drying it all over. Alright, so now that my hair is completely blow dried, I'm going to go ahead and start parting it. So I start on the side, and what I'm going to do is work my way up braid by braid from my ear up to the center part of my head. So to make everything a little bit easier, I go ahead and pre-section very small pieces of hair and I set them up on the wall like this. So as you can see, this is how small the hair is that I'm going to be feeding in. And then I'm just going to go ahead and double check, make sure that part is perfect. And I put a little bit of pomade on it right here at the beginning just so that it's really clean and sharp. And then I go ahead and start braiding. So this first braid is literally the very first feed-in braid I've ever done on myself. So this one is kind of just a trial and error for me just figuring out how I want to braid it. But as we move on throughout the video, I'll definitely show you an up-close version so you can really see exactly what my hands are doing, where I add the hair, and so forth. So for this one, I'm kind of just getting my motions down and making sure that my first braid is going to be perfect so that I can show you guys how to make yours perfect. Also, I would definitely recommend checking with a mirror while you go, because as you can see, I caught this little piece of hair stuck in the wrong braid just in time before it was too late and I would have had to unravel the entire braid. So I would definitely just have a mirror by you and make sure that the stitching is perfect, that the braid is clean, and that the part is super sharp. So now that the braid is done, I'm just going to go ahead and braid it all the way down. And this is how my very first braid came out. I love it. It's the perfect size. It doesn't look too bulky, and it's just super natural, which is really my style for how I like to do any type of braid. Now for this second braid, I'm going to go ahead and part it right on top of the first one. So the width should be the same all the way down. And I like to do this little twist just to get all the hair together and really see clearly how well the hair is parted. So here is my second braid. It's about the same width as the first one and still looks very natural. So I'm going to move on to the third and fourth and just make sure the parts are perfect, very even, and I'm satisfied with them. So I'm going to go ahead and braid those down, and we are halfway done. So again, I moved from ear to ear, so I'm just going to go ahead and start parting that second one. And this braid I will show you guys how to do up close and make sure that you can get a very precise braid. So again, parting is very, very important, and what helps with me is my rat tail comb and this mirror. So I'm just going to go ahead and make sure everything is not only super clean and sharp, but now that we are past halfway done with the braids, we also have to make sure everything is symmetrical. Okay, so to start this braid off, I'm going to again start with the pomade and put it right at the front just to make sure that that braid lays down nice and flat. And excuse my manicure, it was perfect when I started the video, but as I'm braiding, my fingernail polish is chipping, so don't do this with freshly painted nails. So I braid very tight right in the front just to make sure that the braid stays very clean for as long as possible. And I actually don't add hair in for about maybe like 2 or 3 inches back in my hair. So these first few braids are just all my natural hair. So if you can see, my finger is sort of going underneath the hair and then gripping the piece all the way on the other side. And it's just that repetitive motion back and forth. So the faster you do this, the more consistent and clean your results will be. So that's kind of why I don't do it super slow. I just stick my finger under the hair, grip the piece on the left, stick my finger under the hair, grip the piece on the right, and I just keep going forth in that back and back motion. So a helpful way to make sure your braids stay consistent is to add hair in at the exact same place for every braid. So this looks like a pretty good place to add my hair in. So I'm going to take this very small piece, hook it onto my finger, and then just continue braiding as if it's not there. So as you can see, just up close, there's that hair just sitting on top of 2 strands. And then I braid, I pull one, I take my finger under it, and I grab on to that piece again, and then I simply keep braiding down until it's time to add another piece. And I like to do this with very small pieces of hair because it's less noticeable when it starts feeding in. But if you add bigger pieces, then it kind of looks bulky, or the braid looks bumpy, or it's just obvious that you're adding hair in. So for the natural look, I like to add maybe 3 or 4, maybe 5 pieces of very small sections of hair into my hair so that it blends in perfectly and doesn't look fake, basically. So any piece of my hair that's coming to an end and doesn't have a good section of hair connected to it, that's a good place to add hair in because it'll make the transition very smooth from the end of your natural hair onto the part of the braid that's just completely added hair. So I also add a little bit of that pomade to slick it down. Since I didn't straighten my hair all the way, I just kind of lightly blow dried it. And then I continue braiding, and this is honestly probably the most difficult part, just hiding those ends and making sure they're tucked very well. So you're going to want to spend a little extra time on this because the neater you do it, the longer your braids will last before you have to take them out, since they get very frizzy easily. So now I'm just going to finish off the braid, and it's really important to make sure you take some pomade or some gel and really slick down the edge of your natural hair, because this is the part that's most likely to start poking out of the braid and making them look old. So once I slick them down, I go ahead and add one more piece of hair, and I attach it right at the bottom of my natural hair, and then continue braiding down to make it a really nice even transition. So I'm just going to go ahead and quickly finish up this very last braid, adding in about 2 or 3 pieces and just making sure everything is symmetrical. And a good way to check this is just to compare it to the exact same one on the other side. So when I'm done with this one, just to make sure the size is right and everything, I just look over and compare it to the one all the way on the other side. And now that they're done, I'm just going to go back and clean everything up by trimming any of my natural hair that's kind of poking out from the braid, and my favorite, which is the mousse, that I just put all over the roots of my hair and basically anywhere that my natural hair is braided in, just to help make the braids last longer and have everything looking super clean. So this is the final look. I love how these braids came out and they weren't as hard as I thought they were to do. I'll definitely be doing this again because I think that this hairstyle really suits me and my personal style. But if you guys have any questions or suggestions for new styles, just put them down in the comments and I'll definitely try something out and give you guys a new tutorial. And of course, thank you guys so much for watching.